Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we are diving into a topic that is quietly reshaping the balance of power at sea, a weapon so advanced, so unexpected, that even the most powerful navies struggle to defend against it. This is not science fiction, and it is not a distant future concept. It is real, it is active, and it is changing how naval warfare works in ways most people never see. For decades, naval power has been defined by size and visibility. Massive aircraft carriers, heavily armed destroyers, and nuclear submarines have symbolized dominance on the oceans. Nations invested trillions into steel, radar, missiles, and layered defenses, believing that if something could be seen, tracked, and intercepted, it could be stopped. But modern warfare has a habit of breaking old rules. Sometimes, the most dangerous threat is not the biggest or loudest weapon, but the one that arrives silently, unpredictably, and without warning. This secret naval weapon does exactly that, slipping through defenses designed for a different era. To understand why there is no defense, we must first understand how naval defense systems normally work. Modern warships rely on detection. Radar scans the sky, sonar listens beneath the waves, satellites track movement from space, and data networks connect everything together in real time. When a threat is detected, layers of defense activate. Long-range missiles engage first, then medium-range systems, then close-in weapons designed to shoot down anything that gets too close. This layered approach has worked well against traditional threats like aircraft, cruise missiles, and even ballistic missiles. The problem is that this secret weapon does not follow traditional paths. It does not fly high, it does not emit obvious signals, and it does not announce its presence in ways current systems expect. By the time a ship realizes it is under attack, the window to react may already be gone. One of the most frightening aspects of this weapon is speed combined with stealth. Speed alone is dangerous, but when speed is paired with near invisibility, it becomes devastating. Defenses depend on time, and this weapon steals time away. Imagine a threat that moves so fast that tracking systems struggle to keep a lock, yet stays so low or so quiet that detection happens only seconds before impact. In naval combat, seconds are the difference between survival and destruction. Another critical factor is unpredictability. Traditional weapons follow somewhat predictable trajectories. Missiles fly in arcs or straight paths. Torpedoes move through water at known speeds and depths. This weapon, however, can change direction unexpectedly, confusing tracking algorithms and defensive systems. Naval defense software is built around prediction. It calculates where a threat will be and aims weapons there. When a weapon refuses to behave predictably, those calculations fail, and failure at sea can be catastrophic. What makes this even more dangerous is the psychological impact. Crews train to fight threats they can see on screens, blips on radar, sonar pings, warning alarms. When a weapon appears with almost no warning, panic can spread faster than fire on a deck. Morale matters in warfare. A weapon that creates fear and uncertainty can weaken an enemy before physical damage is even done. Sailors begin to question whether their defenses actually work, and that doubt alone can shift the balance of power. This secret naval weapon also exploits a major weakness in modern fleets: dependence on electronics. Advanced ships are floating computers. Everything from navigation to weapons relies on sensors and digital networks. When those systems are overwhelmed or confused, the ship becomes vulnerable. Some versions of this weapon are believed to interact with electronic systems in unexpected ways. Even without direct electronic attack, the sheer speed and maneuverability can overload processing systems, creating delays or errors at the worst possible moment. Another reason there is no defense is cost. Defending against this weapon would require entirely new systems, not upgrades. New sensors, new weapons, new training, and new doctrines. That means years of development and billions of dollars, while the weapon itself continues to evolve. Navies are slow to change. Ships are designed to last decades. When a revolutionary threat appears, existing fleets cannot simply be replaced overnight. This creates a dangerous gap between threat and response. This weapon also benefits from asymmetric warfare. A smaller nation or even a non-state actor could theoretically use it to challenge a much larger navy. That reality terrifies military planners, because it means traditional power advantages are no longer guaranteed. For generations, control of the seas meant control of trade, supply lines, and global influence. If a relatively cheap, hard-to-detect weapon can threaten billion-dollar warships, the entire strategic picture changes. Another frightening aspect is deployment flexibility. This weapon does not need massive platforms. It can be launched from unexpected locations, including small vessels, submarines, or even coastal areas. This makes preemptive defense extremely difficult. You cannot defend against what you cannot locate. If the launch platform is hidden among civilian traffic or natural terrain, rules of engagement become complicated, and hesitation can be deadly. There is also the issue of escalation. Because this weapon can cause massive damage quickly, its use could trigger rapid escalation in a conflict. One successful strike might force an opponent to respond with overwhelming force, pushing a regional clash toward full-scale war. This raises serious ethical and strategic questions. Weapons with no clear defense reduce opportunities for de-escalation. When leaders believe their assets are vulnerable, they may choose to strike first rather than risk losing them. Training and doctrine are also lagging behind. Naval crews train endlessly, but mostly against known threats. Adapting training to a weapon that behaves unlike anything before takes time, simulations, and real-world testing, all of which are limited. Even intelligence agencies struggle with this weapon. Because it is secretive by design, reliable information is scarce, estimates vary, capabilities are debated, and misinformation spreads easily, making planning even harder. Some experts believe this weapon represents the beginning of a new era in naval warfare, similar to how submarines once changed everything. At first, there were no defenses. Fleets had to adapt or risk annihilation. History shows that defenses eventually emerge, but the gap between offense and defense can last years or decades. During that gap, the side with the weapon holds a terrifying advantage. Another reason defenses are ineffective is environmental complexity. The ocean is already one of the most challenging environments on Earth. Waves, temperature layers, salinity, and background noise all interfere with detection. This weapon takes advantage of that chaos. Unlike the sky, which is relatively open, the sea hides threats naturally. A weapon designed to blend into that environment becomes incredibly hard to counter, especially under combat conditions. There is also a strategic silence surrounding this weapon. Nations that possess it do not openly advertise its full capabilities. Silence itself becomes part of the weapon, allowing uncertainty to do the work of intimidation. When an enemy does not know exactly what you can do, they must assume the worst. That assumption alone can alter deployment decisions, limit operations, and reduce freedom of movement at sea. This weapon challenges the idea of naval supremacy. No fleet, no matter how advanced, can feel completely safe. That vulnerability forces new thinking, new alliances, and new priorities. Some naval strategists argue that the future of defense lies not in stopping this weapon, but in avoiding it. Dispersed fleets, unmanned vessels, and reduced reliance on large platforms may become the norm. If that happens, the age of massive capital ships could slowly fade, replaced by smaller, harder-to-target systems. That would be a dramatic shift from centuries of naval tradition. The human cost must also be considered. Sailors serve believing their ships can protect them. When that belief is shaken, recruitment, retention, and morale can suffer, affecting long-term naval readiness. There is also the risk of miscalculation. A weapon with no defense increases the chance that a single incident could spiral out of control. In a tense geopolitical environment, that risk is extremely dangerous. Despite all this, navies are not helpless. Research is ongoing. New sensors, artificial intelligence, and novel interception concepts are being explored. But for now, these are ideas, not proven solutions. Until those solutions exist, this secret naval weapon remains one of the most unbalanced threats in modern warfare. It exploits speed, stealth, unpredictability, and psychology all at once. The oceans, once dominated by visible power, are becoming arenas of hidden danger. Control is no longer just about who has the biggest fleet, but who understands the unseen battlefield beneath and around the waves. As technology continues to advance, the line between offense and defense will keep shifting. Today, the advantage belongs to this weapon. Tomorrow, it may belong to something even more unexpected. What is certain is that naval warfare will never be the same again. The assumption that every threat can be countered has been shattered, replaced by a more unsettling reality, a reality where a single, silent strike can change history, and where the most dangerous weapons are the ones no one sees coming. That is why this secret naval weapon truly has no defense, at least for now, and why it stands as one of the most powerful and unsettling developments of our time.